The death toll following earthquakes in Turkey and Syria is going near 12,000. Officials fear that number could continue to rise as rescue efforts continue. Crews are working around the clock to save any survivors from the rubble.
It really is all about the rescue efforts right now. So we're going to bring in Art delaCruz. You see him here joining us from Los Angeles right now. He's the CEO of Team Rubicon. It's a humanitarian organization led by veterans. Art, thank you for joining us and for doing what you do. We spoke with one aid agency earlier, a woman saying that while she considers herself lucky in Gaziantep, there's a lack of power, there's a lack of water, a lack of food. What are folks on the ground in Turkey and Syria telling you about what they need? And what will you provide?
Yeah, thanks, Errol. And as a veteran-led organization, we have people on the ground currently, 2 people who are in Adana, Turkey. And what they are seeing is not, indifferent from everything else you're seeing on the news. It's chaotic at best. There's huge disruptions in every element of movement, from transportation, from infrastructure, call it water or power. And then on top of it, you have these environmental conditions, the cold, the wetness, all of that is creating a race against time in the search for survivors right now. So I think, across this entire AOR, people are experiencing that, and it's exacerbated additionally by the lack of communications.
Yeah, tell us what types of resources your team brings to the table. And do you expect to be there long beyond this initial disaster relief?
Yeah, I think, one of the resources we actually bring to this that's incredibly important is intentionality. We have a small reconnaissance team right now, and we're constituting the team here in Los Angeles. We won't deploy unless the Ministry of Health and the Turkish government says this is what we need and where you are. So we're currently in a state where our position is to prepare to cover all of the different bases that might be needed in this moment, or for that matter, in the future, and then to constitute those teams and move them forward. I don't think this is unlike the responses we've had in Ukraine. We had, medical teams in Ukraine as recently as December, and we'll see in a system where the medical system has actually been more or less destroyed, that routine healthcare will also be needed in the long term.
Because of where this has taken place, Art, we're seeing the devastation in Turkey. We're not seeing as much in Syria. Of course, that country devastated by almost a decade or more of civil war. What is the best way, from your point of view, for people to help who want to provide either resources or funds?
Yeah, I think for, the biggest guiding factor right now is this trust that the people that are on the ground understand the needs in the moment. Funds are incredibly valuable at this moment in time because, again, it allows you to bring the resources that are required in a very specific fashion. Sometimes donations, these acts of compassion and empathy complicate the situation, as do people that, deploy without a purpose into this AOR. So again, that intentionality, both for the donors and supporters and for the people who are going to provide services, is incredibly critical at this moment in time.
All right. Art delaCruz, thank you for the work that you do. Appreciate you speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.